Hey everybody, happy Monday. Welcome to another edition of The Daily here with the one and only Simon Borg. I'm Nick Fershaw, looking back at another busy weekend in MLS. Want to talk about three games here right off the top. Big games on the schedule over the weekend. First off, FC Dallas with really a statement win over the LA Galaxy. 1-0, George John gets the goal. We'll talk about what happened after the goal a little bit later. On the field, Dallas, this is a big win over the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, player for player, Dallas, they have a squad that can compete with anyone. Look, LA, we're missing a lot of the regulars, but big win for Dallas. They hung in there.
Well, check out the highlights on MLSsoccer.com. That's also where you'll find the clips from Houston Dynamo. A big win for them over the Chicago Fire. Brad Davis with the late game winner. That means 35 games straight, unbeaten at home for the Dynamo. That's a new MLS record, topping the old mark from Real Salt Lake. Houston just keeps on rolling.
Yeah, they didn't play their best game, Nick, but they get the record streak. And look, I put an asterisk on the streak because they did lose to Valencia, and I don't put a lot of stock in this streak. But again, the Houston Dynamo, they want to prove this year that they can be among the elite and rack up those wins.
Another tough team to beat at home this year, the Portland Timbers. They get a big win over the San Jose Earthquakes on Sunday night. We'll talk about one of the incidents from this game a little bit later, but the bottom line, the Timbers with a second straight win for Caleb Porter, played well at home and beat the defending Supporters Shield champs.
Excellent showing by Portland. They kept the ball away from San Jose. San Jose didn't sniff the ball. They didn't sniff the goal defended by Donovan Ricketts. So excellent victory for Portland.
And a big win without Diego Valeri. Did not play in this game, maybe their best player, but nonetheless a big win for the Portland Timbers. Make sure you check out all the highlights, MLSsoccer.com/video. Next up, talking about some big storylines from over the weekend, including a couple off-the-ball incidents. We're going to go back to that George John goal against the LA Galaxy and what happened here after the goal. A fan throws something down onto the field. It looks like a beer bottle or something like that, an aluminum can. Hits George John in the head, clearly in a lot of pain. And supposedly, this is what we've heard, they've reportedly arrested that fan.
Yeah, George John excused the fan to some extent, saying, look, it's in the excitement, but I don't understand why people throw stuff to begin with on when a goal is scored. What's the point of throwing the beer in the air or throwing stuff on the field? I don't get it. But what I'd like to see come out of this, I'd love to see FC Dallas reach out to that fan, bring him together with George John, and use the incident to kind of instruct fans, hey, there's no need to do this. It's just, it blows my mind why it happened.
Another incident from that Quakes game against the Portland Timbers from Sunday night. This one involving Alan Gordon and Will Johnson. Now, Alan Gordon sent off in this game, and he also reportedly sent a homophobic slur Will Johnson's way. We've seen this, obviously, in the past a couple times, including Mark Birch towards Will Johnson. You got to assume Alan Gordon's going to face a penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. You could make it out. And Alan Gordon, I don't know if this was a reaction to his statement, but you can see him wince. Yeah. Just moments after he uttered the words.
And he issued a formal apology after the game. We'll have to see if Alan Gordon faces a suspension for the incident. One other storyline involving the Seattle Sounders. Ozzie Alonso, the best holding midfielder in MLS right now. Jurgen Klinsmann knows it. He was at the game on Saturday against the New England Revolution and talking about Ozzie Alonso and the fact that they wanted to see him in U.S. national team camp back in January, but the Cuban Federation wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, this story's not over, Nick. I think we need to hear what's going on in Cuba. If it really is in the hands of the Cuban Federation, I think they will never give him the green light to play for the U.S. I think it would set a bad precedent for any other players looking to defect from Cuba. So let's find out what is really going on here and see if there's even a shot.
Let us know what you think about Ozzie Alonso on the U.S. national team. Would he fit in? Will it ever happen? Let us know in the comments below. Well, last but not least, the U.S. under-17's in the headlines over the weekend. They were in the CONCACAF Championships and looking for that bid to the World Cup. They're not going to get it. A loss to Honduras in the quarterfinals means Richie Williams and his guys will miss the World Cup. First time the U-17's have done this, and another blemish on the youth ranks for the U.S. team.
Yeah, Nick, we're left thinking, what does this mean that the U-17's didn't make it? Is this a sign, bigger sign of things going on in U.S. soccer and in U.S. soccer player development? I think it has more to do with the format. That everything boils down to one game, I don't think rewards what a team has done throughout this tournament. The U.S. has looked good, did look good up to that point. Look, Honduras were more talented on the day, no doubt about it. But I don't think you can condemn everything the U.S. is doing and its development because of one game. It came down to one game, which is totally unfair.
Well, one bright spot for North American soccer fans, the Canadians actually did advance. That means they're headed to the World Cup, a big win over Jamaica. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more on the latest edition of Extra Time Radio. Podcast comes out on iTunes, Buzzsprout, and Stitcher Radio on Monday. We're scheduled to be joined by George John from FC Dallas after that big win over the LA Galaxy. You can find it at mlssoccer.com/extra time. And don't forget to vote for the MLS Goal of the Week. A lot of good candidates from over the weekend. You can find all the details on mlssoccer.com. We'll be back again with another edition of the Daily on Tuesday.